So let's go through 5 things that we used to have to do with cars that we don't have to do anymore. And there's a bonus one at the end. Yeah, the one that we're all probably thinking about, I'm going to put at the end. So let's get on with it. Okay, so the first thing was the high beam button on the floor. So tapping the floor to change high headlights. High beams were controlled by a small metal button on the floor to the left of the brake pedal rather than a lever on the steering column. Yeah, so nowadays you just flick the lever forwards and backwards, don't you, on the column, on the steering. You never ever see a car with a high beam switch on the floor anymore. Never. And people might wonder what that's for now if they did jump in an old car. Let's move on to the second one. Opening the wing windows for a breeze. Before air conditioning was standard, many cars had triangular vent windows that could be angled to scoop outside air directly into the cabin. Tiny little we used to call them quarter lights. Tiny little quarter light on the door, and you could open it. You could flip the glass round so it would direct the air into the car. Not so good on a really hot day, but I lived in England back then, and we didn't have hot days or really hot days. Not like what we get in Canada now. Like I had a motorbike I had to retake my test in Canada, and I bought a motorbike. Got back into motorbiking, and the problem is in Canada though with motorbiking is it's freezing cold. You can't go anywhere in winter, and in summer it gets so hot that just riding around on the bike, it's intolerable. I don't know how people ride around in Canada in like 30-40 degree heat with their full leathers on. It's like I did ride recklessly with a helmet and just jeans and a t-shirt now and again, but yeah, it's extreme weather makes it so uncomfortable to ride a motorcycle in Canada. Number 3, pulling the manual choke to start the car. On cold mornings, drivers often have to pull a knob on the dashboard to restrict airflow to the engine, helping it stay running until it warmed up. Yeah, so you had a choke lever you used to pull on the dashboard. Nowadays, you go to your car and it's an automatic choke. It's built into the engine management system. So you start it up. You will find that if you don't know about cars, the engine revs a little bit higher on tickover, and then as it warms up, it drops down. So that's like the diaphragm enriching the engine while it's cold. But back in the day, we used to have a choke lever. And on the choke lever, there was a square part, and you could pull it out, turn it a little bit, and it would stick open. And then, but if you had one of those cars where the choke lever was worn out, you had to like hold it out while, well, in England, it was all manual gearboxes, while driving the car and letting it back into to change gear. And then, yeah, with that's something we don't have to do anymore, which is good. She's got on the motorbikes. A lot of motorbikes that I ride, the older, the 80s motorbikes, they have like a manual choke or a little pull lever on the carburetor or on the injection system. Actually, no, the injection systems don't have it. They have an enriching system. I'm not sure how an injection system works fully. I've never really gone fully into it, but I'm sure somebody will tell me in the comments. Piling the kids into the way back. This is probably more an American thing. This is number 4. It was common for children to ride unrestrained in the cargo area of a station wagon or even the bed of a pickup truck, practices that would be illegal child endangerment today. Yeah, in the back of the pickup. Kids used to sit in the back. I remember even in the early 2000s we came over, we would probably ride in the back of my cousin's, my wife's cousin's pickup truck there in Woodstock, across in Ontario. And the dogs would ride in the back, and you'd see the dogs like just looking at the mirror and looking over and looking around. Dogs used to always ride in the back of a pickup truck. Kids, mums and pops, used to always ride in the back of pickup trucks. Not a very British thing, but more a Canadian American thing. What else we got? Oh yeah, navigating using a paper map. Navigating with a massive paper map. Now I've got a little bit of a thing here about that. Without GPS or smartphones. Road trips required stopping to buy large fold-out maps from gas stations and manually tracking your route. Yeah, yeah, we used to write down the route a lot. So again, my experience in the 70s was in England. So it'd be like M6, M62, and then M62, M1, and then there'd be M25 round. So that would be the trip down. You go down and across and down to London from where I used to live in Blackpool. But we used to buy what's called an A to Z. Now A to Zs were local maps for the street maps. So once you've used the big map to get to the town, then you'd have to find an A to Z of that town, and then you could find the street, and then you'd have to follow the A to Z to get to the street. Not just put it in your phone and that guides you straight there. God, it's so easy now, isn't it? So easy to navigate around anywhere nowadays with just your cell phone. But yeah, back in the day, it was a struggle. It really was a struggle. So you'd use the big map, right, with all the main roads on, or you'd have an atlas, like, a big atlas map that would show you all the roads in Britain. And I think the AA and stuff used to sell them big maps. But again, they would have a few street maps in the back of the map, but maybe not for a small town that you're going to. Like if you're going to Bridlington, or if you're going to Devon, or you're going to a small town like North Bay or something, not North Bay, Rhyl or Anglesey or something. You've got to go to the paper shop and buy a map, or go to the gas station and buy a map. And the last one, number 6, manual maintenance. When was the last time you went out to your car to take off the dizzy cap, clean the plugs, tweak with your carburetor, clean out the jets, drain the carburetor bowl of any grit, change the fuel filter for the carb? When was the last time you did any of that? Tune-ups including replacing spark plugs. Now with Iridium plugs last over 100,000 miles. They are an amazing achievement. But back then, when we just had just the regular NGKs, the plugs wouldn't last more than, I don't know, a couple of months, and then one of your cylinders would go down, and you'd have to work out, is it the plug, or is it my points need cleaning? Because that's another thing, isn't it? Cleaning your points, replacing spark plugs, points, and adjusting the carburetor. Now, when we used to do the points, you clean the points up, and if they got black, a lot of the times you'd have to change a little condenser inside the points. I know, I am that old. I used to watch my dad fixing his car a lot, and that's how I got into repairing stuff. I'm not a person who can fix absolutely everything without even, looking at a diagram or maybe a video on YouTube, which we never had back then. We didn't have YouTube videos to clean your points or fix up your car. No, we used to have to just do it using it. Back then we had a Haynes manual. So if you had a car, like I remember once I had a Ford Anglia. I've had Ford Escorts, Mark III Cortinas, all of that. They all needed carburetor adjustments, draining the carburetor mostly just to get any crap and crud out of it, changing the plugs, which was pretty easy because they were right there in front of you, and cleaning the points, which was just a case of flipping the dizzy cap off, clean out the grit from the contacts, and then just use a little bit of 400 sandpaper and clean the points out. Anyway, I just thought I'd reminisce and nostalgically go through a few things that we used to do with our cars. If you can think of any other things, just drop it in the comment. Otherwise, we might do another one of these in the future. I think it's something fun. See you on the next one, guys.